Russia is facing a demographic time bomb and is absolutely fucked. But while this might sound like great news for anyone who isn't a fan of fascism, there could be a sting in the tail for Europe. Now, many developed countries are facing demographic crises, but Russia's is on another level entirely, and what sets it apart is it's almost completely self-inflicted. Put very simply, a healthy country needs a sufficient number of young working people to grow the economy and take care of vulnerable and older people who no longer make any money. Russia was fucked even before the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. It was already a nation of sickly people who lived in a country with shitty healthcare, low wages, and absolutely shocking levels of fatal accidents and domestic violence. All things that Putin has never seriously tried to address because authoritarians always spend more time worrying about staying in power than about the plebs that they rule over. How bad were things? Well, because of things like massive levels of alcoholism, Russia's male life expectancy was about the same as that of Haiti, one of the poorest countries in the world. So Russia wasn't exactly the type of place you'd want to raise a child, and way more people were dying than were being born. And then Putin did probably the dumbest thing a country facing a demographic crisis can do: launch a full-scale invasion. And because of this, hundreds of thousands of men are now fertilizing Ukrainian fields instead of Russian women. On top of this, even more are injured and unable to work, placing an even bigger burden on the ever-decreasing number of those who can. By 2050, a quarter of the population will be aged 65 or over, and there won't be enough young people working for the economy to sustain it. If Russia hopes to arrest this population decline, then it would have to spend loads of money on investing in things like healthcare and child benefits. But it can't. Russia is now a war economy, not a welfare state, and that's why Putin has resorted to one of the things he does best: propaganda. He made 2024 the year of the family, appeals for women to have 8 children or more, and hands out Mother Heroine awards to women who have more than 10. But it's not working, and Russia is fucked. In fact, some experts predict that Russia will cease to be a viable country in the coming decades, and a Soviet Union-style collapse is inevitable. Unfortunately, none of this will happen soon enough to benefit Ukraine, which, in large part because of Putin's war, is facing its own massive demographic crisis. But in the short term, this makes Russia even more dangerous for the rest of Europe. Putin knows Russia is fucked, and he's already clearly demonstrated that he's willing to prioritise short-term military and political gains over the long-term viability of his own country. And with an ever-decreasing population available to do his dirty work, the clock is ticking on his dream to restore Russia to greatness and bring those former Soviet republics back into the fold. So, if Russia is going to be fucked anyway in a couple of decades, what has he got left to lose?